Alright, this is part 3 of the hallway, and as you can see I've got a reference image in here, and this is available for download if you want to model along with me. This is the oil lamp, and I'll model it here in a separate file or scene, and I'll eventually will bring that into the main scene. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with a circle, and I'm going to do something like 22 vertices. I will be putting a subdivision surface on this. Okay, so let's get this guy and see how close we are. We are pretty darn close, so that's always nice. Okay, well, maybe I'll move it a little bit. Let's see how that is. Close enough. Okay, so the way we'll do this is let's come up and leave a little notch for that thing. And we'll come up to here and we'll do the same thing. Let's go in the wireframe. And we'll come up again. So I'm just extruding each time, right? And then we'll come up to here, right up to about that edge there. And I'm going to press F to make a face. Actually, I think we got to go up. I think we got to go up to here. All right. So with that face selected, I'll go back in the wireframe. I'm going to bevel, Control B, and pull. And we'll come down to like that and start rolling it up. I'll just pull this down. Something like that. Okay, that's not bad like that. Okay, I need to close off the bottom, so I'm going to select there and F to make a face. And now I'm going to Shift Alt and click that edge. I can look in wireframe, and I'm going to press E and Alt S, and let's see, pull, no, push. I'll push out. Now by doing that, I may have got something funny underneath. It looks okay actually. Okay, so we'll do that, and then in face selection again, I'll Shift Alt and click there, and I'm just going to extrude out to there. So E and Alt S and pull. That one's going to come out a little bit more, like that. And then in face selection, I'll grab that, and I think I'm going to scale that in a little bit more, and then extrude up like that. E and S, I'll come out. E, and I'll just come up. I think I'll just come up to the top. Let's see how I want to do this. Maybe what we'll do is we'll throw in an edge loop down here and an edge loop up here, and then we'll extrude this in. Face selection, Shift Alt and click E and Alt S and push and pull that in, and that'll give us the same, pretty much the same effect. Alright, grab this, and this is where the glass would go on, so I'm just going to eye to inset a little bit just by eye, something like this, and then maybe I'll come down, and I will press I to inset. I'll come in like that. Maybe I'll come down and then delete that. It's a little bit extra than I need. So the glass could fit on there, and that's where the gas or whatever, the kerosene, that's really what I mean, not gas, liquid. I think to bevel, I'm just going to scale that in just a little bit more. Give myself a bit more room. Now I'm going to grab those two edges in edge selection, and I'm going to bevel that with 3, Control B. And I'm going to hold Shift and pull, roll back, so I've got just the 2, and then one more. That'll give me the 3 that I need. Do the same thing on those two, Control B with 3, and really every hard edge. This might, I'm going to do something with that, I think, in a bit. What I'm going to do though is underneath here, this one and this one, I'm going to bevel those, Control B, just with the 3. And then all of these sort of 90-degree ones, and I could do those together. I'll do that. I just need something. And then this one and this one. Okay, we could start having a look at that. I'll do Control 2, which might be more than I need. And then I want to see if I might need. Nah, I don't really need more supporting loops. If I select this edge here to do the, you see there's a little indent there, so I'm a little off the diagram, but that's not a problem. I'm going to Control B, pull but roll back to 2, so I just have the space. E and Alt S and push to bring it in. And I'll bring an edge loop down, and I'll bring an edge loop up, just close. And that'll give me that. Okay, I think I'm probably good. I'm going to put on the cavity shader to look a little bit nicer. There. All right. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Now, this one is a little smoother, a little rounder than what I've got here. Not sure I care that much, but if I did, I could pull that down, and I could pull this one up, and then the other edge loop here, I could scale Shift Z and just pull it in. That would soften that. Doesn't make a huge difference, but I think I'll do that. And then this one, take that, and I'll scale Shift Z as well. That softens that up, although I might want another edge loop under there. I think I prefer that, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that on this as well. I'm going to Shift Alt to click both of those and scale in the Z, just pull them away from the edge, and then come in, where is it? There. Is that the whole thing? Let's shut this subdivision off for a moment. Yeah, this one maybe is a little bit tight. Scale Shift Z, pull it in about an equal distance. And this one, I'll scale Shift Z as well. Just pull it in a bit like that, and then turn that back on. A little softer, not much, but a little. Okay, let's do the dial there, the whatever you call that thing. 3D cursor is there. That's fine. I think I'll bring in another circle, and this time I'll go for 16 is fine. I'll go for 18, just for this cylindrical part. And so I'm going to rotate Y90 and just drag it up and scale it down. Just like this, and get the approximate size. It's always easier doing it off of a reference image. I'm going to extrude out and then take it and push it back in. And in wireframe, grab that edge and bring it up to about there. No ends on it, so I should be able to just shade smooth, so that's going to be okay. And I will switch, I've got that selected, I will Shift S, cursor to selected. Bring my 3D cursor there so I can bring in something here. And for this thing, I just figured I'd use a circle. Maybe I'll go, you know what, 18 is probably fine. And scale it down. I'll rotate Y90 and get the approximate size of this thing, so scale it up a little bit like that. I'm going to press 1 for vertex selection, so I've got this. And now I want to select every other point for this, so I'm going to use checker deselected. Just leave the defaults of 1 and 1. Scale that in a little bit like that, so it starts to look like sort of like a star. And then I want to select these outer ones, and the easiest way is just to go Control I. That will invert the selection. So I have the outer ones selected, and then I'm going to bevel those, but with Shift Control B and pull. And there's 2, and I want 1 more. And we'll have it sort of like that, I think. All right, I'm going to press E and S and come in a little bit. I need that for support, and then E and S and come in some more, and then use loop tools to convert that part to a circle. I'll do that, and I'll take the whole thing and I'll give it a bit of thickness. So I will extrude out in the X, and I could be looking at this, I suppose. Maybe a little bit more. I'll select it and bring it to about there. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to select here, and I don't really know, well, maybe I can see what I've done. Is there any blow up? No, there isn't really. So just make an attachment to this part. So really what I think I would do is just come out a little bit and then come out a little bit more, and I'm just going to scale it down like that. And let's press the period key to focus, and I'll just go E and S and come in like that so that I know it's joined. I'm going to take this and just extrude out, E and S, come back in, and just extrude out again, and F to make a face. And I'm going to bevel that back. Oh, so if it does that, Alt N, recalculate outside, and also try merge by distance just in case. And I'll grab that again and Control B, and I'll bevel it, and I'll do something like that, and grab this edge and bevel it. I really probably only need 3. I probably will need an edge in there because I'm going to add a subdivision surface in a moment. I'm going to bevel this one with 3, and really I'll bring an edge loop up here because when I put the subdivision I'll lose all definition there. I'll bring an edge loop down in here, and finally I'm going to drop an edge loop there and split it with Control B and just 2, and one out near the edges. Now we can add our Control 1 or Control 2, and we'll get that effect. So as you can see, I do need another edge loop in here, and that's my little dial for it. Okay, I think that looks fine. What we'll have to do though is just look. That's got 1 subdivision. That's got 2. I'm sure I could easily get away with 1 on that. All right. So let's move on to this glass part. There's a few different ways of doing this, and I think the way I might like to do this is I'm going to select a circle going around and bring my 3D cursor there, Shift S, cursor to selected. And I think the way I'll do this is we'll use the screw modifier. It tends to give like a lot of polys, but I'm going to merge at center. So I have just 1 vertex there. I'm going to slide it out to about there. And then I'm just going to press E and G and trace the profile. I'll try not to use too many points. Essentially, it'll end up being the same as if you used a cylinder and added edge loops and, you know, got the right, you know, curvature. But I like this way of doing it. Gives a nice smooth result, usually anyhow. So I'm just pressing E and G, and coming up, I could probably just go right up to there. So that's my overall profile. Then I'll come over to modifiers and choose screw. It'll probably be flipped, mind you. All right, in fact that's even flipped. So I'll come down to the normals here, and I'll choose flip. So that part will be okay. Let's come back to this guy. Select it all, Alt N, to calculate outside. So everybody is facing the right orientation. So that gives me a nice smooth result for this. And I don't even have a subdivision on there, do I? Oh, wow, how about that? All right, so I'll do that, and then I think I will, and I may need a subdivision. I'll add solidify to this. And I just want a little bit of thickness on this, although I think I'm not going to make it as actual glass. I'm probably just going to put an emission and have it glow. But in case you were to see the top, or if I have one on the ground, I would want a little bit of thickness. So I'm just going to choose that as my thickness. And I didn't apply that, so let's apply it. And then I'm going to Shift Alt and click the upper edges, and I'll bevel them just with 3 and very close. So that's 2, 3. And let's slash key to focus on that and come down to the bottom and do the same thing. And so both of those, Control B, and there, that's done. Alright, so there is the actual oil lamp itself. I'm not going to apply modifiers right now or anything, and then you can just decide if you want to change the size of this or something. Alright, so we're going to work on the back piece right here. And I've got my 3D cursor there, and that's fine. I don't need to model it against this really, although it would be nice to have it more center, but that doesn't matter. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use a curved circle, rotate X90. I'll pull this down, and I'll scale it out so that my curve is pretty much at the outsides there. And with it all selected, I'm going to right click and choose subdivide. And then we'll take these points and these points. And we can't see them very well. I'm going to scale these in the X and do this kind of thing. And then I'm going to scale it globally. And we'll just manipulate it until we get the shape that we want. Take those, scale in the X. I'll take these ones, and I'll scale in the Z. And we can just keep going until we get it. Actually, That might be it. We're pretty darn close. Maybe I will take these and bring them in just a little bit more SX just to accentuate that. And take these as scale Z. How's that? Let's move it in front so we can see the shape of it. That's kind of what we got there. So in order to work on this, we need to convert this to a mesh. I just want to consider maybe pinching this a little bit more in the X. That's it. I'm going to go with that. So in the curve dialog box, I'm going to scroll up to the top where it says resolution. I'm going to change that to 4, I think. And you can see that it's a little bit more blocky. And then I'm going to convert this to a mesh. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to press F to make a face. And I'm going to give it some thickness. As you can see, there's a bit of thickness, so I'm just going to extrude back like that. I can get rid of that face. That's going to go against the wall, and I'll take this face. I'll look from the front, and actually, maybe I will bring it over here. I just slid it over, and it almost perfectly fits, just to get an idea of what we're going to do next. And I will put a subdivision on this. I want to just select the front face, and I'll go into wireframe, and I'm going to press I to inset. I'm going to pull into here. Okay, so I'm just on the outside of this. And then I'm going to press I to inset again and pull in and leave myself some polys. Let's have a look at that. All right, I'm leaving myself a row of polys that I could extrude. I might scale that in a little bit more. And then I'm going to press I to inset again, come into there. All right, we're almost ready to pinch and cross over. So I'm going to scale in the Z and do it like that. I might scale in the X a little bit. So I'm going to press I to inset again. Now we're kind of crossing. So I'm going to just, what I'll do is, let's go back. Let me just fix that up because I think I went too far. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got. Okay, I'm going to press E and S and come in. And that's another way of doing that. That'll give me one more row. And let's go with that. So I'm going to select here, and I'm going to select here, all these faces, and I'm going to pull them out, extrude them out like that. Let's try just adding Control 1 subdivision on there. And what I'll do is I'll grab here, and I'm going to inset just ever so slightly, and then I'm going to drop some edge loops in here to tighten that up. And I think I will work on this here. I'm going to look from the front, and I'm going to go into wireframe. And let's shut that off for the moment. And let's grab all of these and just pull them down and not make it so extreme, the pointiness of it. And I'll do the same with these ones. Okay, so we got that. Let's put that back on. Let's come over here and just drag an edge loop up there. Let's drag an edge loop over here and in here. Let's to make it look a little nicer. And we will also, to help getting rid of this stretch, we'll put an edge loop here and pull it down. Maybe I'm going to do a couple. And instead of beveling, it just ends up being almost the same thing. Just putting edge loops to tighten this up. And we'll do the same thing on this one. An edge loop up, an edge loop sort of in. You can just do wherever you want, whatever you think looks good. Okay. And probably I would work on this even a little bit more. I'm going to try, let's see. Let's scale that and see. I think that helps. And then just, I'm not crazy about the tightness here, so I still want to work on this. And so once again, I'm going to shut that off and just have a look at this and just bring these points in a little bit. Put that back on. Now, I need to be in wireframe. Make sure I grab them all. And then I can come out. And then I can do this. Okay, and that's a nicer effect there. So I'm going to do that up here as well in wireframe. Grab all of those, maybe not that one, and come back and just manipulate it until I like the curve a little bit better. And I think that's probably okay. So there's a bolt here, and then there's a bolt there. So let's take this and slide it back. There we go. And just have a look at where it would be. So it's right around there. So I can go ahead and bring that in. Yeah, Shift A, mesh, circle. 18 is fine. I'll rotate X and 90. F to make face. Okay, something like that. I'll extrude it back. Let's go into solid view. I'll get rid of that face and we'll bevel this back. I'll add one more. I may squash it a little bit in the Y. And where is my guy? It's out front. Okay. I put it out front and we'll just bring that in and see if we like the positioning of that. It's not quite centered, is it? So I'm just going to go with respect to my model here. In fact, I may bring it up just a little bit. I'll shade smooth. Let's take this whole thing and use that to mirror this. I'll set the origin to the 3D cursor, and we're going to mirror that in the Z. And let's just see if it looks good. Yeah, that does look good. Okay, I'll leave those for the moment. I'm going to be joining stuff in a moment. And then there's this piece here. My 3D cursor is right in the middle, so I'll go ahead and bring in a circle. And I'm just going to approximate this. Rotate X90. And I won't be going off the diagram. I just want a nice big thing there. So what I'm going to do is extrude out just a little bit. Extrude out some more. And scale it down like that. And then what does it do? All right, then it goes flat for a bit. E and S like that. And then it just comes back in like that. Okay, so that is going to be beveled. So Control B, and I'll go back to my 3. And here and here I need to bevel just carefully. Like that. Shade smooth. Okay, so that's going to be like that. This I'm going to apply the mirror, and I'm going to join those, and I'll eventually join it to this once I figure out the subdivision. I'm going to, let's see. I may try to just join them, and I'll have the subdivision on everything, and that's fine. I'm going to take this whole piece now and move it back. And imagine that goes against the wall, and then there's a little stalk that comes out of that. That joins to this. So maybe we'll build it off of this. So I'll just take a circle here, Shift D to duplicate, P to break it out. Take it, scale it in a little bit, push it into the hole, and extrude it out. Like that, shade smooth. And then I'm just going to take this whole thing and move it down just a little bit so that the stalk is kind of right in the middle there. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this and just have a look at this. Let's check the orientation. Okay. Recalculate outside, and while I'm here, let's just merge by distance. See, I got rid of some vertices, so that was causing some problem there. So I got that. So this has one subdivision and this has one subdivision. I think I can join those two. Oops. I can join those two things. And what's going on with this guy here? That is that. This has one subdivision. I think we can go ahead and join that and join that. And the only thing I'm not joining is that right now. So we'll see what we need to do. And that's how that is going to work. That goes against the wall. And this thing is here. And we're good, right? Yeah, we're good. Let's have a look with, say, this kind of metallic look. Or I don't think it looks sort of metallic to me. All right, and in terms of polys, you know, 26,000. So it's not as low as it could be, but, and then this thing didn't even have a subdivision. And I'm going to try a control one just to make it look a little smoother for the time being. And that, of course, will bring that up to 30. But I'm not trying to be low poly, so I'm not too worried about any of that. I'm going to just bring it up above there. And it's done. It would be pretty much ready to go into the scene. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that for the time being, and then we'll come back and continue to do some work on all of the other pieces in the hallway scene. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.